Hello, ma'am. We can start with the meeting.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So we are good to go. All the road takers are over.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. I extend a warm welcome to everyone present, both online and offline. First up, we'll start off with a business session. I request Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav to give his updates on the role takers for the next meeting. Toastmaster Gaurav, can you give the updates?
Thank you all the guests present. So I'll be reading out the road takers that will be taken for the next week. So master ceremonies have been taken by Toastmaster Lakshmi. There are two speakers, Toastmaster Ankita and Toastmaster Jyoti. And all the remaining roles are open, so all the members who are interested can contact me.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. I now request Toastmaster Bhavani to give her updates.
Thank you so much, Madam President, Toastmaster Namurthy. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and the guests present here. As it is already announced that the theme of this quarterly newsletter is gratitude is an attitude. Thank you for a few of you members who have already sent the articles. Based on the request of few members, we are extending the deadline, which was 10 September to 15th of September. You have 3 more days to submit your articles. The mail ID will be forwarded again in the WhatsApp group of Mekon Communication Club. Looking forward for more such enthusiastic articles. With that, thank you, and back to Toastmaster Lorna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavani. Is Toastmaster Sanjana present in the meeting room? Toastmaster Sanjana Prabhanjan, VP membership. If so, I would like her to make an announcement. Toastmaster Gaurav, can you confirm if Toastmaster Sanjana is present? Toastmaster Gaurav, can you hear me?
Am I audible and visible? So, good evening to fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. And this is regarding the feedback. This is regarding the feedback which has to be given in the base camp. It is basically a reminder. We have collected the data and the statistics regarding the number of people giving feedback in the base camp, and out of 30 people on an average attending a meeting, hardly 3 to 4 people visit the base camp in order to give the feedback. So I would want to reiterate the fact, requesting all of you to spare a minute or two to visit the base camp and give the feedback. As we all know that Toastmasters is a mutually supporting group, and it would be really helpful if the member receives the feedback and works on the points which are mentioned in the feedback. And there is also an announcement regarding the membership renewal. As we all know, the Toastmaster scheme, the Toastmaster renewal scheme is biannual in nature, and the membership of October to March term is due, and this has to be renewed in the month of September. I request all the members to be renewing before 28th of September. The renewal details will be put up in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. And back to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for your announcement. I now request Sergeant at Arms to take over.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I have everyone to mute their phones. 20 seconds. Okay. When Toastmaster Sanjana texted theme of this meeting, postcard, a bygone era. The first thought which crossed my mind was, this is definitely a bygone for me. For me, whenever I think about postcards, it's not a nostalgic hit, but it's the history classes which I learned about them. And the only experiences I can collect about postcards are maybe the black and white screening movies of Malgudi days, or the place I sat in Rangashankar. And of course, the third standard postcard making class which I attended. These are the only memories I have of a postcard, and nothing of my own. Maybe for me, the postcard era would be much better. Most of you sitting here would agree to this. I hate texting. So I give the replies at least two, 3 days later, or so much time to write. So maybe I would be much better going.
Can I start, Gaurav? Can you confirm? Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Vaishnavi, for that introduction. I'm sure it would have been a wonderful introduction, though I did not get to hear it because of the glitches and the problems we are having today in this online meeting. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I don't see any guests online. There is one Samsung SM. If it is a guest, can you please introduce yourself?
I am from CAM.
Okay, Gaurav, are there any guests attending the offline meeting? If so, can you ask them for their introductions, please?
So we have few couple of guests in the offline mode. So I request the guests from the right hand side and the left hand side to come one by one and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shubhangi Shrikant. I work as a teacher, an English teacher at Tamil High School in Padmanabhanagar. I worked as a banker before. I worked as a pharmaceutical marketing person before. I have about 20 years of experience working. However, this is the new role that I've taken in. And I heard about Toastmasters through Mrs. Vijayamurthy, who was also working with our school. And she pushed me into this. She said, it will really help you out. So I don't know in what way, but I'm here to find that out. And she said it's a mutually beneficial thing. They will really help you out to improve your speaking skills. And so that is why I'm here today. It's very nice meeting all of you. Thank you.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and dear esteemed guests. Yeah. My name is Shrikanta. I'm basically from Mysore. So currently, from past 3 years, I'm living in Bangalore. So I work for a company called Postcards. It's a online agency. So I work as a senior performance marketing executive. So in total, I have over 10 years of work experience in advertising and marketing. So public speaking, it's I wanted to do I wanted to join Toastmasters. Sorry, it's I wanted to join Toastmasters earlier, but I couldn't join because of some reasons. I wanted to get out of the fear of public speaking, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Krish Kedia. So I've recently completed my graduation in a bachelor's degree from the University, Bangalore. So I got to know about Toastmasters through my brother, and he told me that I'd get a good exposure and confidence, and like I have a public speaking fear as of now. So I think that I can work on that.
That is all we have from the offline guest demo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav, for facilitating the guest introductions. I now request Secretary Toastmaster Shivaprasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting. Is Toastmaster Shivaprasad there? Can he read the minutes of the previous meeting?
Thank you, Madam President. Here are the minutes of meeting number. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1178 held on the 5th of September 2022. The theme was Mind the Mindset, the word of the week, colloquial. The business session started at 6:38 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Lalna Moore. In the business session, the following points were addressed. The Vice President Education, Toastmaster Gaurav, mentioned that all other roles were open for the next meeting apart from 3 speech slots and Master of Ceremonies. Interested members were requested to contact him for the same. On behalf of the Vice President, Public Relations, Toastmaster Gaurav requested the members to contribute articles to the quarterly newsletter themed Gratitude as an Attitude. The articles need to be submitted by the 10th of September 2020. The regular meeting started at 6:40 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana H.A. started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Gaurav. The President opened the meeting, spoke on the theme, and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Jyotirao. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following old takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Hamsika, R-Counter Toastmaster Pavani Katta, Grammarian Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, and PP Evaluator Toastmaster Sai Snehal. The prepared speech session had the following speeches. First one, Toastmaster Lakshmi attempting level 1, project 1, and was evaluated by Toastmaster Sharne Prasad. Second one, Toastmaster Zuleka attempting level 1, project 2, and was evaluated by Toastmaster Balaji A.S. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Mamata and had 7 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Ankita. Winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Lakshmi, Best Evaluated Toastmaster Balaji S, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Supreet, and Best Role Taker Tapchi Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Ankita. The President closed the meeting at 8:49 p.m., which was followed by the national anthem. Thank you, and over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. Are there any amendments to the minutes? If not, I will consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1179. Man has always been a social animal and interacting with each other since time immemorial. There have been different forms of communication that have evolved over the years, such as smoke signals, messenger pigeons, electric telegraph, post, telephone, email, etc. However, the humble postcard has been the most popular back then as it was affordable and the easiest means of communication. People would look forward to the visit of the postman, who would often be the harbinger of any news, good or bad, in those days. In rural areas, the postman would in fact read it out to the people, sometimes who were illiterate, and he would also write their letters for them. He would become a part of their family, knowing everything about them. When people traveled earlier, they would post the picture postcards to their families and friends from the places they were visiting, unlike today, when the pictures from the phones are posted on social media. I still remember receiving picture postcards from my aunts and cousins who lived in the US. When I started traveling later, I started getting postcards from the places I visited. In fact, when I visited US in 2010, I did post some picture postcards from there to my children. I wish I was attending the meeting online. I could have shown some of the postcards which I got from there and I posted it from there to my children back then. As for the regular postcards, I have a lot of memories associated with them from my childhood. I would write messages on the postcards and send it to my cousins who lived in Mysore and also here in Bangalore. There was something called local post, which you can send with a lesser amount of stamp, as I remember. I would send them wishes for their birthdays and also for festivals. I still remember the tagline I would write on the back of the postcard: "Fly, fly, and bring a sweet reply." And another thing I remember is my uncles in Mysore writing to my mother. Back then, it was customary for the brothers to buy a sari or give money to their sisters for the Gauri festival. My uncles would send money through money order from the post office and write to my mother. I still remember the happiness my mother felt, and we as children would be so excited about all this. Recently, my son left for Canada after being with us for a long time during the pandemic. He did call us once he reached there, And I was really missing him because this time he stayed for a bit longer as he couldn't fly out of here. But then I was really pleasantly surprised to receive a picture postcard from him later. It is moments like these that touches you. Of course, the mediums like email and WhatsApp messages are the in thing these days. But despite the technology, postcards are still one of the most thoughtful things you can send to someone. It shows that you care by taking that extra effort. Dear Toastmasters, let us not relegate this humble postcard to oblivion, but bring back the magic of postcards. You can use these postcards as travel journals when you go on vacations so that you can relive your memories later on. Many apps are available these days, and you can create your own picture postcards with the photos you have taken and send it to your family and friends. Believe me, it's a great feeling to receive a personalized postcard. The fact that it's a tangible object adds another dimension that cannot be replicated by emails and messages. To tell us more about the theme and to take this meeting forward, we have a Toastmaster who is a mechanical engineer and works as a project manager at UD Trucks. Her hobbies are reading non-fiction, singing Kannada retro songs, and collecting postcards. So who better than her to elaborate on the theme? Please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Toastmaster Sanjana.
Thank you, Madam President. So, how many of you here have sent or received a postcard? Not bad. How many of you believe postcards are actually a thing of past? Okay, so let's find out. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome, dear guests. So, in 2005, with the internet gaining popularity, Paulo was a student in Portugal and he loved receiving and sending direct mail. So, as a pet project, he started this medium called as post crossing. So, this is a platform through which one could exchange a postcard with anybody else, of course, a registered member, around the globe. It ballooned. It started with 2,000 odd cards, per year, and as of today, 68 million postcards have been exchanged through post crossing. And as we speak now, around 3 lakh postcards are traveling. So why did Paulo want to revive the direct mail or the postcards? Want to take a guess? Anything? Okay. So although internet brought in a lot of real-time communication, it missed out on some intangible things. There are some things that gets more beautiful when you wait, and things that do not demand instant gratification. These things were lost, and Paulo wanted to revive postcard mainly for this reason, because the experience made it more beautiful. And he has done a substantial work at this. Of course, I don't disagree that there has been a general dip in the number of postcards, but the charm remains. Can you just? So, I always wish I could talk to the person who wrote the first postcard and ask him how he felt about it. To go to the presentation. So this postcard was sent in 1840. So that's about 150 years ago. Quite a long time. So I just wanted to show you the first postcard that was sent. So this writer, he sent it to himself as a practical joke in London, and this was sold for about 31,000 pounds in 2005. You can just go here. Yeah, so this was the world's first picture postcard. So it was during the 1900s that the postcards saw a golden era. So there were a lot of picture postcards making the rounds, and the divided backs, this was an instant hit. So you can write the address on one side and then the message on the other side. So much so that there was an article in the newspaper which read like this: the illustrated postcard craze, like the influenza, has spread to these islands from the continent, where it has been raging with considerable severity, with multiple daily pickups and deliveries up to 12 times per day in large cities. So people were receiving postcards left and right. And at this point, a person called Ralph C. Smedley entered the scene. And he thought people are writing too much. It's time for people to come out and speak. So he thought, let me create a medium which can help people to come out and speak. And he started the Toastmasters International. So Toastmasters is a non-profit organization which was started by Ralph C. Smedley in 1924, around the same time when the postcards were a huge hit. And this was started in Santa Ana, California. And the purpose of this club was to help members improve their communication, public speaking, and leadership skills. So the organization, which started as a single club with few members, today we are at around 300,000 members strong in 149 countries, serving more than 16,000 members. It's quite ironical that I'm in a speaking club and I'm professing to writing. But I'm also grateful to Smedley for creating this platform so I could come here and speak about postcards. So for the benefit of the guests, a typical Toastmasters meeting consists of 3 sessions. You have the prepared speech session. As the name suggests, the speaker gets time to prepare for a speech on the subject of their choice as per the guidelines of the manual. And then you have the table topic session. So in this session, the table topic master will choose the speakers randomly, and they'll be given a topic and they have to speak about it. Now coming to the last session, which is the evaluation session. So this is the session where speeches and the proceedings of the meeting will be evaluated and feedback will be given. So today I have a team here with me to help me conduct a smooth meeting. So I request the role takers to introduce their role. First, we have the Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Toastmaster Gaurav.
Very good evening, Toastmasters. I should ensure that being a parliamentary procedure evaluator to ensure that the meeting is going smoothly. Of course, there have been few technical issues, so apologies from my end. So as a parliamentary procedure evaluator, I request the speakers not to talk about sex, religion, and politics. And I could see few here with the phones ringing, so please put your phones on silent so that when the speaker is over the lectern, it doesn't get disturbed. And when it comes to the online members, please keep your videos on so that at least we can look at your beautiful faces and the speaker gets inspired looking at you. And when anybody wants to leave during the meeting, please ensure you enter and leave when there is applause happening and not when speaker is talking. So that's all from my end. I'll give my report at the end. So back.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Next, we have the R counter, Toastmaster Ujjwal.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm Ujjwal. I'll be taking up the role of our counter. So I'll be making a general note of usage of words like crutch words, repeated words, and other bad usage of words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ujjwal. Next up, we have the grammarian Toastmaster Lakshmi.
So here's a silly question. What is the difference between a cat and a comma? Remember, this is all about grammar. I'll give you an equally silly answer. A cat has claws at the end of its paws. A comma is a pause at the end of a clause. CLAUSE. Dear guests, as a grammarian, I will be listening closely to all the speeches and making notes of good usages and not so good usages of the English language. The word of the day today is substantive. It means real or important. An example of usage could be, there was nothing substantive in his report. I encourage all the speakers today to use the word of the day in your speeches. I will be giving my report when called upon at the end by the general evaluator. I wish the speakers, all the speakers, good luck, and let's make Mr. Renan Martin proud today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. So, as the timer, we have Toastmaster Vaishnavi.
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. It will forever take to tell and listen to the stories of bygone era, but we need to learn to concise and stick to time. So that's the reason, as the timer, I shall make sure that everyone stays here and not reach the bygone era while telling the stories. So for the speakers, it will be, I shall show the green card for 5 minutes, the yellow card for 6 minutes, and the red card for 7 minutes. And the respective evaluators, 2 minutes, I shall show the green card, 2 minutes 30 seconds, I shall show the yellow card, and 3 minutes, I shall show the red card. And for the table topic speakers, green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. And I shall give my report during the general evaluation session. Back to you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. So let's start the first session, the prepared speech session. Before I introduce the first speaker, I request the evaluator, Toastmaster Jyoti, to read out the project guidelines.
The speech purpose statement is motivational speech. Project purpose is, the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Notes for the evaluator. The member completing this project is working to write with a purpose, write a speech with purpose. The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their expressed purpose statement with a well executed speech. About this speech, the member will present a well organized, well delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style of the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. I shall give my evaluation at the general evaluation session.
So our first speaker is surely multi-talented. She loves singing, baking, sketching, calligraphy, and is also passionate about Sanskrit. Like, my God, too many things. So she's currently pursuing BCom and Chartered Accountancy courses. Her speech is titled "Is Just a Small Wish That Changed Everything." So with a huge round of applause, welcome Toastmaster Sharani.
Thank you, Toastmaster
Toastmaster Sanjana for that wonderful introduction. A fabulous evening to all of fellow Toastmasters and my dear esteemed guests. The more grateful we are, the more beauty we see in everything. We all have that one feeling in ourselves that is called as want, and it will never go out of us. We are never satisfied of what we have. When we are in school, we want to go to college. When we are in college, we want to do some professional course. When we are doing some course, we want to go earn. When we are earning, we want a higher salary with greater position. And after we get all of these things, we want to go back to our childhood. So this is want and it is good. But at the same time, we should also respect, be grateful and show gratitude to what we have. We should value everything when we have it and not when we lose it. I have a small story to narrate to all of you which changed the whole perspective of mine on life. There was an ice cream factory located in Australia a few years ago with one manager named Mr. Albert and a few employees under him. So before entering the freezer to work, all the employees there had to wear these heavy coats and oxygen cylinders so that they won't freeze to death. The oxygen cylinder would last for 2 hours. So all the employees there were very unsatisfied. Some of them were unsatisfied with their salaries, some with work, and some with work-life balance. So the employees were leaving and joining on a daily basis. Albert was so stunned to see how many employees were leaving frequently. So Mr. Albert thought to himself that he himself will go inside the freezer, wear the jacket and oxygen cylinder. So he opened the freezer, he opened the lock of it and entered. What he saw was this beautiful scenery outside the window. Like he used to draw these V-shaped mountains and the sun on top of the mountain and a tree with a house, it was the exact same scenery he saw. He was amazed by seeing these changed mountains, sun shining in that sky. He was seeing the birds chirping. He was seeing the flowers blooming. He was just so amazed and he was just admiring that. While he was admiring that scenery, he lost 20 minutes of oxygen in the cylinder. So he went a little more further to see how everything looks and works in the factory. So again, there was reduction of oxygen of 20 minutes. And again, he went a little more further to see how the machines work. And again, there was reduction of 20 minutes of oxygen in the cylinder. He felt he was tired and he sat by the window admiring that beauty of nature and was also wondering at the same time why no one wanted to work here. He got an overview of the whole freezer and he also saw everything was intact. He just had 30 minutes left now with him and he thought he'd go back to the factory because he got an overview of it. While he was walking, when he reached that door, he realized the door he opened while entering the freezer was locked and he forgot to get the keys. He was feeling so helpless because he either did not have the keys, nor did he have the phone to call anyone for help, nor did he have any workers in the factory to help him. The freezer was a soundproof box, but still he went to that door, screamed for help, cried for help, but there was none to help. There was 10 minutes left. Because he was panicked, he lost a lot of oxygen was being consumed. So all the wants in his life went into drain. He just had one want, that was his life. He just had 2 minutes left. He saw the sun going down and he just prayed one thing to the Almighty, that his family should do good and should be strong enough to take this. So he thought, this is it. He's going to die in the freezer, and he just fell unconscious there because he was panicked. What happened next? Did the story end here? No. After a few minutes, he just opened his eyes and thought, was he dead? Was he in the heaven with God, or was he alive? He was shocked to see that he was alive in the factory and he was out of the freezer. He was wondering who saved him. It was the watchman who saved him. But how did the watchman get to know that Albert was inside the freezer? Albert always had the habit of wishing good morning when he entered the factory and good evening when he came out of it. That day, the watchman got the good morning wish, but he did not receive a good evening. It was past Albert's time that he did not receive the wish. So the watchman thought that he himself will go inside the factory and search for Albert. He did search for Albert in the factory and he did not find him anywhere. The only place left was the freezer. So the watchman wore the coat, took the oxygen cylinder and went inside the freezer searching for Albert. And what he saw was Albert lying there unconscious. So he brought Albert outside the factory and he also brought Albert's life back. So this one small gesture, one small wish changed Albert's life. So we are so indulged in achieving our wants, we forget these small values that is being taught to us by our parents and by our schools. One small good morning, one small good evening, coffee aida, uta aida can change a lot of things. There's this one gesture that is being taught to us by the chairman of Transfer Group of Institutions, Mr. Siddharth, that we used to have a workout session every Saturday. So after the workout session was done, we used to tell this affirmation, the life is beautiful, thrive on top of our walls. And after this was done, we had a tradition of getting a few chocolates and toffees from our house and distributing it to the people whom we feel like were walking or walking out. So we used to give them the sweet with a sweet smile on our face and tell them good morning or have a nice day. And this gesture was taught to me and I follow it till date, and trust me, it has changed a lot of things. So this one small value that we inculcate in ourselves will change a lot of things and will make our and others' life also beautiful. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Saranya. I don't think I will forget to wish you anymore.
So before I introduce the next speaker, I request evaluator DTM MU Bhatt to read out the project guidelines.
Toastmasters and welcome guests. This is a level 5 project. It's about leading in your volunteer organization. And the purpose statement says, the purpose of this project is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience serving as a leader in a volunteer organization. The member should have served in a leadership role in a volunteer organization for a minimum period of 6 months. He should have received feedback on his or her leadership skills from members of the organization in the form of a 360-degree evaluation, and develop a successful succession plan to aid in the transition of his or her leadership role. He is expected to present a well-organized speech about his experience serving as a volunteer leader. It may be humorous or informational or any style the member chooses. The style should support the content, that's all. And the speaker should not be a report on the content of the leading in your volunteer organization project. Time allowed 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker and back to my question.
So our next speaker has a legacy at this club. He was the past president, vice president education, vice president membership, and vice president public relations. He loves cycling, biking, and is a tech savvy. He's currently pursuing his CA, and his speech is titled Instincts Inspire. So please welcome Toastmaster Sai with a huge round of applause.
There are two schools of thoughts on leadership. The first one, which says, leadership is innate and cannot be taught. The second school of leadership of thought says, leadership is something that can be experienced and learned. In the second group, there is a sub-clan, which says, the first part of it says, Leadership is something you learn with experience. And the other clan, which says leadership is something you learn by watching and also practicing the same. A true leader is one who puts the best of both together. Master of ceremonies, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. When I walked into this room 3 years ago, I had never imagined that I would be called as the past president of this club one day. An experience which taught me a lot of memories, lessons, and inspiring moments. It all started with an instinct to act upon an opportunity. An opportunity that was given to me to record the meetings of the club. And you all know where it is today. There is a saying which goes by, if you act upon an opportunity, there are thousands of opportunities knocking your way. When I started recording these meetings, another opportunity that was knocking my door. An opportunity to be the sergeant at arms for the club for the remainder of the term. I was just a guy who had barely attended Toastmasters for a couple of meetings. Minimal knowledge in Toastmasters and even in the role. How can I take it up? But the then president trusted and put me in that role. I took it up. At the end of the term, I sighed with relief. Okay, my responsibility as a sergeant is done. I'm going to take a back seat and not take up any more roles. Just when I was about to take a back seat, another big responsibility was handed to me to take up the role of BPPR. And I was told it is just an extension of what I was already doing apart from recording the meetings. It was just to make posters, newsletters, and so on. I went ahead and took this role too. A couple of months into this role and getting comfortable, I realized I wanted to do something rather than what was already existing. I made some bold changes, which was not substantive back then, but today it helps us get a fraction of Hall of Fame credits. I finished the role of BBPR with great pride in it, something I love doing, which I never thought I would really love doing, making posters and newsletters. Next came the VPM and the VPE. They trusted me to take up the role of VPM and VPE. And I knew I could trust them too, in case I was in a situation that needed help. VPE is a role where a club solely depends on to make the meetings happen smoothly. This role has taught me that it's not just about sending the agenda or getting few role takers, but the learnings which I learned from here could be applied elsewhere. I started organizing things better, started managing things better, and had everything in schedule. That taught me that how you can use your leadership skills here, from here, outside Toastmasters too. And that brought me to the end of the term as VP Education. And there was this last step in the leadership of club, the president. A couple of days before filing my nomination for the president, I was in a dilemma whether to take it up or not. I spoke to a couple of Toastmasters, and one of them mentioned to me, leadership is not about doing a particular role. It is about leading the team. And that's when I took up the role wholeheartedly. That role has given me such surreal leadership experience that I can never forget. A role which had me teaching and learning at the same time. Once Ratan Tata, along with his group of managers, were on the way to a town in a bus. The bus hit a rocky road and there was a flat tire. Everyone got down from the bus and they were taking a small break. After a while, one of the managers noticed that Ratan Tata was not to be seen anywhere. After looking around, he was seen with his sleeves rolled up, helping the driver fix the puncture. A leader is one who does not just direct, the executive role taker, but also gives a hand when it's required. Sundar Pichai, in one of his keynote presentation, mentioned it's important to reward efforts, not just outcomes. I would like to appreciate every member of the executive committee and the club for doing the best they can. Because it's not the outcome that matters, but it's the effort. Your input may be small, but to the club, a whole lot. Recently, I was offered to take up the role of trainer for the club officers training program. It was something that was very new to me, and I took it up at the first shot. Because leaders don't create followers, leaders create leaders. If you inspire people to learn more, do more, believe more, and even dream more, you're all a leader. Back to the March of Service.
Thank you, Sai. You've lived up to your legacy. So that was the end of first session. Before we move on, actually a small card called as a maxi card. So a maxi card is the maximum concordance card because the postcard, the postmark, and the postage stamp are all same. So that is why it's called maximum concordance. So people collect these cards specifically. So now let us maximize our experience here at Toastmasters with the table topic session. So our table topic madam for today has an equally good legacy at this club. She has served as the past president, VP education, VP membership, and secretary. She loves painting, yoga, and learns new languages. She is currently working at PwC. So please welcome Toastmaster Ankita with a huge round of applause. Good evening, one all present here, and I will be the table topic master for the day. So, just like we all know that impromptu speaking skills are a substantive part of our communication journey, because a lot of times in life you'll be put on the spot and you'll have to speak on the spot and give your opinions, and that is exactly when the skills you pick from speaking behind the lectern on spot come in handy. I also do believe that life is all about your perspective to things, the culmination of your perspective to a particular thing. And so today, my topics are going to be like two sides of one coin. Just like life, I want to know your perspective on this particular topic. So I'll be giving out a topic to all the members. I'll be picking one person on random who will speak for the topic, and the next person who will come up will speak against the same topic. Does anyone have any questions to ask? All clear? Cool. So let me begin with the first topic for the day. The topic is the internet making or breaking our connections with people and the world? I will repeat. Is the internet making or breaking our connections with people and the world? I would call Toastmaster Shiva to come up and speak for the topic.
Master. The internet is most surely helping us to form better connections as compared to the era before that, when we didn't have the internet, when we didn't have social media, WhatsApp and stuff like that. And the reason for this I'd like to mention is that, yes, my generation, I was somewhere between using button phones, and then when I was about 10, the smartphone came into being. But then there is my grandparents' generation, who had never experienced using a smartphone, or forget smartphone, they had never used the internet for that matter. And then they were introduced to the smartphone just a few years back. So in my grandparents' case, or in their family, they, in those days, people had a lot of brothers and sisters, right? So they have a massive WhatsApp group. My grandparents, their brothers, their sisters, their wives, their husbands. And whenever I look into that WhatsApp group, I just feel like I just feel so happy. Like these people who would probably never have spoken to each other for so long, and who live, someone lives in America, someone lives in Bangalore, someone lives in Bangalore, who would have never talked to each other so much. Video calling each other often, and sometimes yes, they send weird forwards, but that's okay. That's part of it. So definitely, the internet is helping humans to connect better. Is what I would say. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Shiva. To speak against the topic, I would request distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakar sir.
Sorry. No, I don't believe I would like to speak against it. So I've been forced to do it. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome. Yes. There is nothing like, see, my children are abroad, my brothers, so many families have people living in different cities. See, you can talk to them on video phone. You can call them, you can hear their voice. One thing is missing, it is the touch. The touch that I am able to speak to her physically there, she's present, then Shiva is present. Shiva, can he live without meeting your parents for decades just because you are on video or you are hearing? It's not. I cannot. In fact, I exchange with my wife, my children are abroad, and I feel that I miss them in home. Their voices, they also miss. It is not that it's a kind of thing that we miss. In fact, me and my great friend, if I don't meet him in a few days or if I don't talk to him sometimes, I feel that we are left out from the world. In fact, Toastmasters is one place where I want to come to only because people I can meet, members I can meet, talk to them. Veerabhadrappa is there, my great friend. Sometimes he meets me in coffee shop somewhere, and I feel elated for that. And that physical feeling that we are a better person in person is something that brings some kind of joy that is not possible to describe. Everything cannot be in picture. It has to be with the touch, the smile, everything has to be in 3 dimensions. And that with a special thing that you are present is something that is brought into my heart through the evolution. It's in millions of years. And that is something that's being removed through the internet. Are we going to miss something forever because of the internet? How are you going to meet when we want to meet anybody that day, particular day, the feeling, how am I going to get that? Can internet give me the feeling? Artificial intelligence, can it give the feeling? I think it cannot. Internet is something that fulfills the communication between the fulfillment and desire, but nothing like emotion. Over to table topic master.
Thank you, DTM. The loneliness rates in today's world are at the peak, even though we have our cell phones that we can use to instantly connect with anybody that we want to connect. So that's something I would leave you all with to ponder upon. Is the internet really making or breaking the world today? My next topic would be working in a startup provides one with more exposure compared to working in a well-established corporate or MNC. I will repeat the topic. Working in a startup provides one with more exposure compared to working in a well-established corporate or MNC. To speak for the topic, let me invite Toastmasters Industry. You could please come up.
Good evening, all Toastmasters and guests. This was something that I was thinking just today morning because I had completed my exams very recently and I had to go back to work, and I realized I required a lot of motivation to do this because school work, college work was all easy. All I had to do was study, go back to exams. It was very simple, and I never realized there would come a point in my life where I would miss exams. So today morning I work in a very well-established organization, 500 employees, and I also had an opportunity to pick a startup over this. And I pondered both of these ideas. And I thought, I don't want to go with startup because it's so uncertain. and all the results or all your work is very quantifiable. And I enjoy getting my salary on 31st. And in a very big organization, the work just ends up in a very small task, or it ends up being where you work, complete your objectives at the end of the day and you're sorted. And at the end of every month, you get your salary. But I would also think in a startup, you get more opportunities. And that's a choice that you make. Whether you want more opportunities, you want to learn a lot, or you want to be comfortable where you are right now. And I personally pick comfort over wanting over new ideas. And it depends for everybody. So thank you on that.
Industry. To speak against this topic, can I have Sanjana come up?
Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. So, contrary to whatever Sindhushri said, the fellow Toastmaster said, and to the topic, as I'm still studying law, I would not be able to provide a substantive perspective on the same. But I would want to definitely be a big fish in a small pond than being a small fish in a big pond. And with my profession, if you take that into account, if you take litigation into account, I would definitely have to be working under a lawyer who has an office with 6 to 7 employees. That would be more or less like a startup. And that's where you get to do the big tasks, and that's where you get to take big responsibilities, and people would rely upon you. I like the fact that people can rely upon me, and I finally get to be a big girl in a small organization. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Sanjana, for your response. Moving on to the next topic. Watching a movie in the theater is better than watching it on an online platform. I'll repeat the topic. Watching a movie in the theater is a better experience than watching it on an online platform. To speak for the topic, let me invite Toastmaster Monish.
Thank you, Tabletop Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So I think we can all agree that watching in the theater is, obviously more interesting. And now that we have better technologies like IMAX and all that, better sound effect. I mean, maybe you can watch whatever you want on TV, but you can't watch, I'm pretty sure 3D, you can't watch 3D and the same sound effect. And when you're watching in the theaters, you feel more like you're part of the movie, which you don't feel like that at home or when you're watching it on TV. And yeah, I mean, the experience it has, I mean, the theaters are, they're designed in such a way that you feel the vibration, you feel the bass, and you feel it around, you feel the entire movie. For example, all these movies, there is some part of the movies where there's this sound coming from here and vibration coming from there. So I think it's all scientific right now. They've all done research, and it's very interesting to watch in a theater. Imagine watching Avatar on TV, and imagine watching the same thing in 3D with all the extra vibration and bass in the theater. So I think it's self-explanatory, and I think I would definitely go to the theater and back to the.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish, for your take on the topic. Can I call Toastmaster Gaurav to speak against this topic?
Very good evening to all Toastmasters and guests once again. Can I just have a raise of hands if you buy popcorn in movies? It should be the double cost of what you pay for the ticket. So, do you want to really spend so much and go to movies and watch some actors and actresses romancing on screen? But you like to just buy Netflix or buy a subscription in the OTT platform. Just pay little money and it will be like a year subscription. So we like to spend thousands of rupees, just go watch some movie, have some popcorn, cold drinks, and come back, or just buy some 30 rupees popcorn and cook it in your house and enjoy watching it on the TV or any online device you have. Of course, there is the sound system and everything that gives thrill, but there is an alternative for that as well. Buy a earphone, plug into your tablet or plug into your laptop. That will also give a near experience of what you feel it on screen as well. Like, of course, like few movies when you watch it in theater, you feel that joy, you feel that a very good experience. But I don't feel the same as well. Just when you sit in a closed room, switch off the light, you feel the same that theater experience as well. Just wear your earphones. That like who will travel again 5-6 kilometers, go to a mall, park your vehicle, again check in, COVID, serve vaccine certificate. Who will take care of all it? Just buy one online subscription, sit at home, watch whatever you want. You're bored of the movie, stop in between, continue tomorrow. That you can't do in a movie theater. Unless it's your father's movie theater, you cannot stop it in between. So I know movies, nowadays lots of movies are coming. And I'm sure in future movies will go and the series will start. That's going to be a new trend. So of course you can't, of course they might start for one episode, come to theater and watch. So it's not a very good investment is what I think. Just buy a OTT platform and enjoy the movie whenever you want and watch it anytime. We can watch the same movie multiple times. You don't have to spend again 500 rupees to watch the same movie in the theater. Thank you and back to the
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav, for your take on the topic. I'm sure all the OTT platforms would want to have you to come promote them, so that people don't end up going to the theaters. My next topic is going to be money is the key ingredient to one's happiness. Money is the key ingredient to one's happiness. To speak for the topic, can I have Toastmaster Vishesh?
Topic master, Toastmasters and guests. So, yeah, money is the ingredient for whatever you need. So it's like a currency which runs right now. But money is not everything. Like you can't have, you can get everything with money, but not happiness through money on the long run. So it is, it's a mode of exchange, but then you can't. So people like whoever has a lot of money, so they still don't have the happiness which a normal person in a village has. So when I say village, so they have their own lifestyle and how it is. It's pretty simple, and they don't. They're not more eager to get more money, and there are some people, but they are settled in life, like how much. Like how much they have, so they are well established and sustainable. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishesh. Just to clear the air, you have to speak for the topic, which means you have to say that money is an ingredient. You get what I mean? Never mind. So to speak against the topic, maybe you can get inspired by Vishesh and you can use the same ideas. Toastmaster Veerabhadra. No.
My dear friends, my topic is, yes, money is required. It is not that absolutely money is required so much. Now you have to think how much you need other things. So that is more important. I came to Bangalore penniless. Now I could save more money. But at the same time, I think of doing other social activities. If you have the money, think of the social activities like helping poor students who go for education, or a poor person who cannot afford money for this thing. To cite an example, practical one, I have a very good friend. He says one day, I have a lot of money. What should I do? Yes, every week he goes to the Malina, Philippines, wherever he wants, he goes and spends the money. And he said, what should I do, Mr. President? Mental peace is also, because mental peace comes the way you actually, in what perspective you look into the money and other things. So I advise him to donate money for this thing which he is doing, charitable organizations and other things. Money is not the only thing. Please take it, my friend. Say, it's to cite another practical example. I am a member of the Industry Management Committee in ITI near Melbourne. Lot of aeroplane was going there. I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister and to the Secretary and to the Commission. And to the Commission, sir, this lot of things are happening with proof. When I write a letter with proof only. The contractor came and offered me 10 lakhs. I said, get out of India. Recently, I had one more incident adjacent to my house. One house was sold. That lady was IPC. That lady is a deputy superintendent of police. His brother was selling the property. Property was sold. After selling the property, that man went to the broker. You must give me 50% of it. He himself wants to take money from their own system without knowing that. The money is the only thing. Relationships are not more important. My dear friends, no, relationships are more important than work and technology. Yes, money is required. If there is no money, you will not be, it is very difficult to run the family. It is to that extent. When you get more money, try to think of doing some social activities. So because a lot of people are suffering without these things. I advise you, have money, but not too much.
Thank you, Mr. Veerabadrappa, for your take on the topic. My last topic for the day is going to be morning risers are more productive than the night owls. I repeat, morning risers are more productive than the night owls. To speak for the topic, can I please request Toastmaster Indrani to speak for the topic?
Okay. Thank you. Tabletop. Am I audible? Okay. Good evening, table topic master, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. So the topic is morning rise is more productive than the late evening. Am I right? Okay, thank you. Yes. So morning is as we wake up, we have a lot of thoughts in a fresh mind and mood to do better things. We have a lot of energy, and even the morning sunrise, when we go out for some physical activities, we'll have more energy to do the entire day. So things will be bright, our mind is clear what to do, and you'll get more ideas and thoughts to do better. So we'll be more productive and we'll have more energy in the morning to do more work. So for example, let's wake up, if I wake up in the morning, early morning, like 4 o'clock or 5, by 7 we could have completed all my work. So I think there is a lot of time. So if you get up late in the morning, it will be too late and the entire day is going to be like, okay, it's overburdened, I have not done any work. So that thoughts will be running. So the early we wake up, the mind is fresh, the more time we get, and we always curse like there is no time for me. Definitely as we see our earth planet, like the sun rises in the morning, sun sets in the evening, it's the same 24 hours that we have. So one person does better, utilize the time, the other person keep thinking like there's no time for anything. We have a lot of time. How we think, how we schedule it is more important than the morning waking up and doing better. We have a lot of time, definitely. So only thing we need to plan. So the morning is more productive. As the day ends, we'll be more tired and we lose our concentration. We feel like we wanted rest, so things goes as not expected. So mornings is very productive than evening. Thank you, and back to table topic master.
Volunteer? Anybody would like to go against the topic? Come on.
Can I take?
So as a topic says that sunrise, like morning, people they are more productive than night also. I'd like to go against the topic. Like okay, I believe that morning you'll have more energy, you'll have more time to do your work and all. But you will get more peace in night. Like just try going for night walks or just night out. Maybe a party. Night out doesn't mean only that going for parties or just chilling somewhere or just doing Netflix and nothing like that. Just go for a drive, go for night walk, and it will give you more inner peace, and you will get to focus more about on yourself and life. Like as my personal experience now, since some time back I started doing for night walks, and like I have explored more. I keep thinking what I can do in future. It is the start of my career. Then I'm not very sure that where to approach and where not to approach. And to be honest, waking up in the morning is not that easy also. Like you'll have morning laziness and many other stuff. So as I feel that in night you get more peace and time with yourself, and you can experience the city also, city life.
Thank you so much for your response and for the courage to come out and speak. I will give one last topic. Building on technical skills is not as important as building on your soft skills. Building on technical skills is not as important as building on your soft skills. Can I have Toastmaster Zulekha to please come and pick up the topic?
Thank you. Happy evening to all of you. Building, can you please
building on technical skills is not as important as building on your soft skills.
Yeah. Building technical skills is not important as what soft skills. See, skills, when it comes to skills, all the skills are very important, right? Whether it is technical or soft skill. Technical skills are very important. Say, for example, when you're working on a computer, something goes wrong. So when we are not technically sound there, we have to be dependent on somebody else to come and fix, which I often face that kind of problem. You know, always depending upon my son. Anything goes wrong, I'm little hesitant to go further and operate and see what happens. Always dependent on my son. See, come and see what has happened. Please help me, support me. Even when I started Toastmaster, I am now taking Sai's and Gaurav's support to get into the base camp and check and all those things, right? So it is important for us to learn and master the skill. And coming to the soft skill, I'm not supposed to touch the area. Okay, technical. Say for example, you're riding a vehicle, and if you know how to fix it, on the way when you go and something goes wrong, you can just help yourself and fix the problem, and then go ahead and continue your journey. Coming back to the home atmosphere, when you have other instruments, take for example your iron box or any switchboard. If you have the knowledge, whenever it is going wrong, you will not go for a shop to go and fix it. And you can support yourself, and so that's how technical things are very important.
Thank you, Zulekha, for your take on the topic. That was table topic session for the day. I hope you all enjoyed. The only message I was trying to drive home was that there's no black and white in life. It's all about our perspective. There's this one thing my friend told me, value life in perception. I think that was a very profound statement that he made. and it's just stuck with me. So it's all about how you look at life and how you perceive it. And with that thought, I would like to hand it back to the MC for the day, Toastmaster Sanjana. Thank you, Toastmaster Amita, for that interesting session. So now let's take a short 10-minute networking break. Can the online audience hear me? Okay. So welcome back everyone. And now I'll show you my favorite postcard. This postcard is from the world's highest post office. It stands at around 14,000 plus feet. And this place is in India. So let us also start with my favorite session, the general evaluation session. And our G for today is a great football fan. His heart shouts, "Glory, glory, Manchester United." He enjoys reading fiction. He has done his master's in mechanical design engineering from BITS Pilani and is currently working at Applied Materials. And also he's my mentor. So please welcome the G for today, TM Supri, for the huge round of applause.
Growing around a lot of postcards in the house because my mom was into screen printing. As a kid, I always wondered who even buys them? What do they do with these cards? There's nothing written on one side, it's so plain. But slowly, as I leaned into using them, I realized how colorful these cards made your life. On that note, let's see how colorful today's meeting as a postcard was. Meeting number 1179, the business session started at 6:34 p.m. It started, went back, started, went back, started, went back, a few back and forths. We can only understand that with the kind of technical glitches that we face today somehow. I must comment that Toastmasters Sai Snail and Gaurav do their best to handle all the adversities and bring the meeting into a line, but sometimes things tend to go offline. Good note on that, but maybe we can try to explore more ways of how we can fix this. As soon as the business session started, the VP had his announcement for the role takers for the next meeting, the VPPR. Toastmaster Bhavani had a newsletter and call for articles. Then we had our VP membership put in a few points about the feedback on base camps. Back before COVID, we realized we used to small pass chits around in Mekon with our feedback for the table topic master, for the speaker, for every role taker or any speaker around. I think there are a bunch of them still lying around there in the Almira. Those small chits was what we craved for when we were members out here. Receiving one chit, something like from somebody here, made our day and our whole evening. It killed all our Monday blues. I still have the entire stack that I used to get. Sometimes when I'm really low, I feel not feeling very confident. I go back and read all the tens of hundreds of them that I had got and make myself feel really good. So that is the importance that those feedback really means to us. So I really request all of you to go back to base camp and give those feedback to your members. That was done really well. And then Toastmasters also spoke about the renewal programs. Go back and renew it. Overall, it was smooth except for a few glitches, but nothing to take away. A beautifully done session. With that, we moved to the Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Vaishnavi. She came, stood here, and banged straight on the point. She said, "Please switch off your phones before I even start talking." Reminded me of my college days. Very animated speaker who had gestures all around. You gave a very good intro to the session. It was a unique take of yours, which I really liked. And you made postcards seem like Morse code, saying it's all black and white and you know what people use it. That's unique, but that was attention catching. You had everybody's attention in the room, beautifully done. Couple of things, if I may point out for you viewers. This section of the crowd was left out. You looked at these four, but those 5-6 people were not in your eye contact ever. So maybe try to get through the whole room and introducing the president. Today was a glitch, but try to make them feel as good as possible. And something that you can experiment when you're a sergeant is how to string their introduction to the theme of the topic. That is something you can experiment, which helps you explore your new ways of speaking. But all in all, beautifully done session. I absolutely loved it. A great round of applause to Sergeant. With that, we moved to Madam President, Toastmaster Lalana. Should I turn around and talk to you? You are a natural speaker. Good lines, nice stories, and a picture perfect smile. That's what we always expect when we see Toastmaster Lalana behind the lecture. You started off well today with a nice history to mankind and communication and how it has evolved over the years. And then you gave it a nice personal touch of how you exchanged postcards with your uncles, with your aunts, and how they exchanged it with your mother, and eventually going down to how you got a surprise one from your son. It was beautiful. So sitting there, we could reminisce all the memories that you created or your family created. Beautifully done. Now, how can you take it to the next level? Now that you have been a speaker for quite some time, I'm going to be a little critical on this. Your story, though, is very soothing to the ears. At times, can get a little monotonous. So try to add in a little bit of vocal variety when you're speaking. A good example: fly, fly, and bring a sweet reply is how I started my postcard writing. You use that line somewhere in the middle. Maybe start off with it, get the audience attention, and play around with your vocal variety. That is something you could have done. Take one story, try to inspire the crowd. We usually it's like the president's speech is something that we look up to each time we come to a meeting. So we create those kind of awe-inspiring speeches is what I would say. But your smile, your speech always makes the day for everyone in the meeting room. Beautifully done. And an icing on the cake was your intro to the MC. It was great, flattering, and we were all looking forward to seeing who the MC was. So it was that beautiful. So for a job, very well done. Can we have a huge round of applause for the With that, we moved on to the individual speeches. I'll request the individual evaluators now. First speaker was Toastmaster Sharanya, and can I please request an individual evaluator, Toastmaster Jyoti, to present the evaluation.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and a special good evening to my speaker, Toastmaster Sharanya. I'll evaluate your speech into 3 parts: what you excelled at, what you may want to work on, and what you could challenge yourself for. So to start with, you excelled at a very fine storytelling. You kept the suspense active in the audience mind, and I could see quite a lot of us, forward bent to listen to what happened, where did he go, what happened to him in the end, like will he be saved or not. It was very well taken, and your explanation and description about what he saw when he went in the freezer room, the birds chirping, the shape of the mountain, the greeneries, I could visualize myself being there. So this was very well you excelled at. And what you may want to work on was, you occupy quite a lot of space here, no doubt about it. But we could extend it because there was story going on. So maybe the mountains, or you could go around the place, but nothing more for me to add there. And what you could challenge yourself is to bring in more vocal variety, because it's a story where you could have added a dialogue, particularly where the security said, I missed the good evenings, or like he could have said, where is my good evening, or some dialogues that comes to his mind, where he could, you could bring out some dialogues. And also you could incorporate dialogues, and also as a challenge, you could reduce the speed of your speech so that the audience, when they are listening, for them to process it in their mind, you could give them some time for that. But otherwise, the speech was wonderful, and there was no much of crutch words or pauses or any such thing. So I wish you all the best, and I look forward for much more with such wonderful speech of yours. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti. I think that was a pretty comprehensive evaluation. She gave you 1 point of where you were really good, or 1 point of where you can improve, and a couple of points for you to challenge. Your evaluation was very nicely structured. It had the proper sandwich technique, and gave the goods for the speaker to open up your points. Very nicely done. If I may add an area of improvement, when we give out the areas of improvement for the speaker, maybe I'm going 1 step further as telling them how they can do it. Maybe you told her that you can use the stage, you can do better body language, but giving her, just pulling one small snap out of her speech and telling her, at this place, you could have done body language, something like this. giving them that live expression of just not the what, but how they can do it. We'll give them more ideas as to how they can do their speeches. But very good evaluation. Can we have a round of applause for the speaker? Our second speech was by Toastmaster Sai Snehal. Can I please request the individual evaluator to give me a part for this present evaluation?
Mr. General Evaluator, for Toastmaster, welcome guest, and Toastmaster Sai Snehal in particular. This is a very, very important speech in my opinion, because here the speaker shares his experience for a leadership role which has taken in Toastmasters, particularly for many of the newcomers who know what is it in the leadership learn and what exactly happens in the leadership role. This is very. Let me evaluate the speech under the same standard heads where you excel at and where you may have to work on and where you can challenge yourself. The first is your excel, where you excel. What I really like about your speech organization, a powerful opening. You told about two schools of thought as far as leadership is concerned, and he says that it is a combination of this both two what matters. Very powerful opening. And your completion, your closing also was about leaders don't just lead followers, they create new leaders. In fact, that is one of the major objectives of this leadership role, where you are doing a succession plan and create a new leader. So that conclusion was informative. And also your body, you covered the story in a manner that there are 4 stages in this particular speech. One is you have to learn about the different skill sets required for being a leader in a voluntary organization like Toastmasters. Second, apply those skills for a 6-month period in any role. He role that was here 3-4 times he has taken, as various roles he has taken, maybe president role he has taken, and then take a 360-degree feedback from the various group of some 10-12 members or so, and develop a succession plan and present a speech based on that. These are the 4 stages. Now you have brought in your body all these points, what you have learned. I could understand that yes, you have followed the project, you have learned from that, and you have applied those skills. There is the impression everybody got it, and that's what is great. Now, having done that, and as far as your speech, other aspects are concerned, like the clarity, vocal variety, I have given you excellent in all the same feature strength, but except vocal variety, maybe you could have still work on. Let me tell you where you can really work on. Actually, I would have expected you to share some of the challenges you had in the project, because this is what is called for, and also something about 360-degree evaluation, because this is very important about communication, leadership, interpersonal skills, teamwork and teamwork, problem solving, motivation, prioritization, reliability. I was not part of your 360-degree team, but probably if you had given, I would have probably also replied to that. But you could have shared those what you learned from that. That is one thing at that. And the challenges you got, some problem solving what you have done as a leader, that could have really been eye-opener for many of us and learning for the newcomers. And as far as the challenge is concerned, yes, there is nothing, is there something different from apart from this project. Probably you can imbibe a bit more style and flamboyancy in your speeches, because you are a powerful speaker yourself, you got so much, communication skills. There is one thing I can just suggest as a challenge, nothing to do with this speech. But otherwise, an amazing speech, I could, at least our members could get what I can learn as a leader. Congratulations on that. And with that, back to Mr. General.
Thank you, Didier Memubak, for that very detailed evaluation. What I really like about Didier Memubak's evaluation is, as soon as he came in, he established the importance of the project. That makes the audience also more involved about what is so important about this project. Speaking about the leadership styles, and then he went into the concepts and to the guidelines of the project and evaluated those was the size nail on it. Great points you had, lovely positives, areas of improvement, and yeah, I think I totally agree with you when you say add that flamboyance to your speeches. You're a natural speaker, but how can you add that flamboyance? So points pointed out very well. Can we have a huge round of applause for the speaker? Before I move ahead, I would just quickly request ask both the evaluators if they received the evaluations well in advance.
Yes.
Anyone, sir? You got the evaluation?
Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to the next session. That was the table topic session. Creative, competitive, and conspiring. That is what I will call your session. Now, why I call it conspiring? You came up with topics that were really thought about, well researched, and made people pit against each other. That was really good. it kind of brought out the best in them, because I saw most of them speaking more than 1.5 or 2 minutes at times. So that was really nice. It was so conspiring, so creative that I could see how substantive Gaurav's hatred towards cinema halls is. So it was that nice to bring out that provoking. So beautifully done. It helped people speak for a long time. So that is what we expect in table topic sessions, right? So beautifully done. Something that you can improve, that you yourself saw that a couple of speakers got confused about what was for and what was against. So though you wanted to stick to the topics, at the end of it, maybe summarize it. Like your last topic was what was more technical skills are not as important as soft skills, right? So now the speaker tends to get confused. So maybe read the whole thing and then say technical skills or soft skills. What do you prefer? I say technical skills. Can you please speak for it? It becomes, it's just 2 words now for the speaker to listen and understand, and for them to comprehend in their mindset as well. So apart from that, beautifully done. In your own words, you said, I just wanted to say life, there's no black and white. Definitely, because your session was very powerful. A huge round of applause for the With that, we quickly move on to the reports from the TAPG team. Quickly, can we have the timer Toastmaster Vaishnavi with your reports?
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The meeting started at 6:39 p.m. A 9 minutes delay, but it's okay due to the technical issues. The business session went ahead for 6 minutes 40 seconds. Moving forward with Sergeant Atam speaking for 2 minutes 22 seconds. The President address was for 5 minutes 15 seconds. And the report on previous meeting by Toastmaster Shiva Prasad was 1 minute 55 seconds. The first speaker took 7 minutes 10 seconds. The individual evaluator took 2 minutes 20 seconds for the evaluation. The second speaker took 6 minutes 34 seconds, and the individual evaluator took 3 minutes 17 seconds. There were 11 speakers for the table topic session. The following timings are Toastmaster Shiva 1 minute 35 seconds, DTM AK Prabhakar 2 minutes 20 seconds, Toastmaster Sindhu Shri 1 minute 20 seconds, Toastmaster Sanjana 1 minute 15 seconds, Toastmaster Manish 1 minute 25 seconds, Toastmaster Gaurav 2 minutes 24 seconds, Toastmaster Vishesh, I'm sorry if I mispronounced, 1 minute 10 seconds, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa 2 minutes 55 seconds, Toastmaster Indrani 2 minutes 30 seconds, Toastmaster Zuleka 1 minute 5 seconds, and the guest took 1 minute 13 seconds. Moving forward, the table topic master took 6 minutes 1 second, and the break time was for 13 minutes 45 seconds, and the general evaluator till now has taken 8 minutes 24 seconds.
Job well done, Toastmaster Vaishnavi. Maybe one thing that we can add is write down on the names of the board so that you need not read out all the 10, 11 speakers here. But great job done. With that, we'll move on to the next report. The counter Toastmaster Ujjwal. Can you have a round of applause?
Once again, good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and their guests. Coming to my report, Sergeant Adams and Timer Vaishnavi 6 times up, Acting President Lalana 3 times up, Grammarian Lakshmi 1 time up, and a PP Evaluator Gaurav repeated words and coming to the prepared speeches, speaker number 1 Shalini Prasad 5 times up, repeated words so and the evaluator for speaker number 1 Jyoti 4 times up and 1 time up. Speaker number 2 Sai Snehal, you had 2 long pauses, and the evaluator for speaker number 2 DTM Bhat 4 times up. And coming to table topics session, table topic master Ankita 4 times up. Toastmaster Shiva 6 times up, and Toastmaster Prabhakar 4 times up. Sindhu Shri repeated words and Toastmaster Sanjana 7 times up. Toastmaster Monish 3 times up, repeated words and crutch words, you know, like, I mean. Toastmaster Gaurav 2 times up.
crutch words like, Toastmaster Vishesh, 5 times 2 times Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa, 1 time Toastmaster Indrani, 3 times repeated words. So crutch words like Toastmaster Krish, the guest, Krish guest, 3 times and crutch words like Toastmaster Zuleka, 4 times that. I really like your evaluation because according to the general evaluator response. Toastmaster Ujjwal, I know it's your first time as an accountant, very detailed, very nicely done. You've paid attention to each and every speaker to improve your listening skills and made note of everything there. Very nicely done. Just one tip, when a speaker sometimes pauses through their speech, try to understand if it's an intentional pause. Sometimes we pause for impact, right? We say something and we wait for the audience to digest that idea or that point, and then we start again. So those pauses we don't consider when we do it. This is more of unintentional and such pauses, crutch pauses or unintentional pauses that we usually note down. But a great job done for the first time. Can I have a round of applause? The Parliamentary Procedures Evaluator, Toastmaster Gaurav Bali.
Once again, a very good evening. I'm not looking at my face very often behind the. So yeah, none of the speakers spoke about secularism and politics, and there were a few phone rings in between. Then people realized that they forgot to keep the phone on silent. So please ensure when you're stepping inside the room, you always put your phones on mute. And when it comes to the online audience, they were switching on, switching off. I don't know whether it was this page or that page. Now, there were a few technical glitches, but yeah, when it comes to I agree, these things happen. We'll try to ensure that it doesn't happen from future meetings. And yeah, people left during the applause, and there was no disturbance when someone is talking. There was no crosstalk as well. So yeah, everything went back.
And last but not the least, the class, the pause, and the grammarian Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Thank you, Evaluator. Of course, there were a bunch of good usages today. I hope I captured all of them. Let me read them out to you. Fly, fly, and bring a sweet reply. Relegate to oblivion. Left and right postcards. Professing to writing. Not reach the bygone era by telling stories. Best of both. Instinct to act upon an opportunity. Took up the role wholeheartedly. Reward efforts, not just outcomes. Life is a culmination of perspectives. Met a person in person. Big fish in a small pond versus small fish in a big pond. The not so good usages, satisfied of what could be satisfied with what. He himself will go, could perhaps be he himself would go. Prayed one thing, could be prayed for one thing. Schools of thoughts could be schools of thought. Had everything in schedule, could be had everything scheduled. Morning walking up and doing better could be, morning waking up and doing better could be waking up in the morning. So all in all, great speeches. I congratulate all the speakers. As we know, grammar is a substantive part of our speeches. And so Mr. Renan Martin would say, good job, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Before you quickly sit down, can we know who are the speakers who used the word of the day?
The word of the day was used by the President Lalana Murthy, Sai Snehal, and Ankita. I apologize if I missed anybody that had it.
You have missed yours.
Yes. And grammarian. You use it? Yes.
I asked you the whole report because I used it first. No problem. Thanks a lot. Good job, great. Can you please have a... With that, I'll give you 20 seconds to quickly open your ballots and submit best speaker, the best in-topic speaker, and the best evaluator. Limited to the members, so the guests can relax for 20 seconds. Okay, with that, we'll quickly move on to the one of the most important, I should say, the playback and the forefront role taker for the evening, the master of ceremonies. Frankly, I should say her preparation started a week back because I overheard Toastmaster Gaurav Badri say in the last meeting, the MC can't be changed because the next week's MC has already taken the guidelines to do the role. So that was the preparation that had started, and you could see the results today. I got the introduction request 1 week back last Monday, but me being me sent it right Monday today. But I like the way she prepared for the role and she executed the whole thing. I would call this textbook execution sometimes. You started the session with the question and then you jumped into the theme. Beautifully done, caught everyone's attention, and then it was a beautiful ride to hold on. It's surely, I think, postcards are a thing that's really close to your heart. It came out, there were great details with numbers, research, and at one point I thought, is she going to stretch with the theme? And because you said, in between you said, and at that time there was a man. And I thought, okay, we're going spiraling into another story. But you beautifully came back and said, people have such nice writing skills. Why don't we use them for speaking and transition into RLC smoothly? I think this is one of the best transitions that I have seen, apart from Virat transitioning from 50s to his 100s. So a beautifully done job there. And you went on to give a very clear introduction to how a Toastmasters meeting runs. That was very, I have seen a few MCs skip that point or sometimes jumble it up when they're saying because they get confused. But yours came crystal clear about the 3 sessions, about what happens in each session and what we can expect. So that was very well done. You had your own quick ways of giving small knowledge cards here and there. It might be a maximum concordance card or the card from the highest post office in the world. So all that was beautifully done and beautifully transitioned. Coming to the introductions, great job. Made the speakers feel really good. Especially, I saw Toastmaster Sharine kind of blushing sitting in her seat when you were introducing her before the speech. So that made her feel good and that gave her the confidence for a beautiful speech. Very nicely done. Very good job there. Your MC today seemed smooth as ivory, but ivory has a few cracks. So let's try to polish it. Couple of things that as an MC that I would like to avoid is a presentation. Right? So you run the meeting. A presentation can sometimes going back and forth, just not being the online offline room, but even otherwise, can switch your focus from the audience to the screen and back. That can kind of hinder. So try to avoid it. Though I said your introductions to speakers were very good, the title of the speech somewhere got a little mixed with your other sentences. So maybe finish their introduction and then say, with the speech title, Instincts Inspire. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Size. So keep the title and speaker away so it's really well done. Maybe something that you can try in your future roles is having a vocal variety and give a rising crescendo towards the end, towards an introduction. But all in all, I would say this role was like a postcard that I received, and I'll cherish it for a long time to come. A huge round of applause for the postcard. With that, we come to the quick general tour. I think it was a great quality meeting, good speeches, great evaluations, amazing general evaluation. Sorry. But a few glitches here and there with the technical glitches there, but I think we can surely overcome that. Going back to my postcard days, my childhood days, when I started thinking about how are these going to help. Similarly, when I first heard about bygone from my wife, I thought how would it help? And it took me quite some time to come in here. But once I came and lent in here, the kind of lessons, the messages, the evolution that I have seen in myself, I feel today, I really feel grateful to what I've received from this club. And I'm sure this journey is going to continue with everyone. A lot of people have walked in and walked out of this room, but each time they walked out, I have seen that they have changed and they have evolved and taken back something. So in simple words, I would say, keep coming, keep speaking, keep listening, and just like a postcard, keep writing. I'm sure you will have a great life ahead. With that note,
Thank you, team Supreet. You've been quite kind to me. So I hope you all had a good sneak peek into the world of postcards. To end the session, I want to share one personal experience with you all. So 4 years ago, that was pre-pandemic, I had sent a postcard to a person called Natalia. And she took almost 4 months to reply. That was quite a long waiting period by the usual standards because it takes about 15 days. And this is what she replied to me. Many thanks for your amazing card, which arrived, I guess, a while to my sister's address. Sorry to register it later. Since that war arrived to my area, we don't have an Ukrainian mail for over 4 years. Well, my cards are finally in my hands after a hard way to me. So I'm terribly sorry it's registered much later. I just couldn't stop my favorite hobby. So this made me feel and still makes me feel that postcards are definitely not a bygone era. They're here to survive and they're here to take us ahead. So with that, over to Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for that wonderful session and making us all feel nostalgic. Me especially. We had a great meeting today with good speeches and that thought-provoking table topic session by Toastmaster Ankita. And of course, that excellent general evaluation session by Toastmaster Supreet. Every time I hear him, he sets a benchmark that's difficult to surpass. And his perspectives of everything. There's so much to take back home for everyone. Regarding the feedback, as our VP membership Sanjana mentioned earlier, hardly a few people give the feedback. So for the benefit of the new members, Toastmaster Sai Snehal will be demonstrating how to give the feedback in the Pathways Base Camp after the meeting. So I request the members to stay back so that you can provide the feedback. And I would also bring your notice to the Toastmasters promise which we all commit to when we join as Toastmasters. So providing feedback and exercising our ballot is a part of that. So I request everyone to please do that and participate in your role as a Toastmaster. We had, I think, 17 of us attending the meeting today. I hope all of you have voted. And I request Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav to give the results.
So let me start from the bottom. Best role taker for TABG, that is timer, our counter, PP, and the grammarian. It goes to, I'm not surprised, it goes to the grammarian Toastmasters. Now coming to the major role takers, okay, this is actually a tie between the general evaluation and the master of ceremonies. So, next week, that's okay. Now coming to again technical.
No news system. We should go back to postcards, send balance. Old is old.
So coming to this table topic speaker for the day, it goes to my
Cinema halls are being useful to somebody else.
Coming to the best evaluator for the day goes to DTM. So coming to the best speaker for the day. It was actually a little bit close call, but it goes to Postcards. So yeah, that's all from the winners.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. Congratulations to all the winners. With this, I now close meeting number 1179 and request everyone to raise for the national anthem.